So we have these sodas here. At any point, you can ask them to pass back the sodas. These are all A&W sodas flavored with high fructose corn syrup. They're great. They taste amazing. They're used to the taste. Not healthy by any count, but they're good. And if you'd like, you can have up to 2 cups of these sodas. At the back, though, if you'd like to walk over, we also have cane sugar sweetened sodas. They're a little healthier now. They're not quite as sweet, I wouldn't say. They're not the taste you're used to, but they are healthy if you want to go back there and get them. So, let's get going. Meet Joey. Joey's a sweet, sweet, adorable kid, now isn't he? Joey, one day, he's going out to dinner with his family, and they're eating at McDonald's. You know, they're a regular income family, so they like to eat somewhere cheap. McDonald's is cheap, and you know what? You can get any size soda for $1. That's great, isn't it? So they all get larges, all 5 members of the family. They're enjoying life. Joey's so happy because his parents let him drink whatever he wants. This is Joey's dad, by the way. He loves his soda. Anyway, so he's loving life. He's like, I'm so thankful that my parents let me drink, whatever I want. I get to eat all this. It's great. I am so happy. And so they go home that night, and Joey's ready to go to bed, and he asks his dad, from the other room, can you tell me a good night story? And his dad calls back, yes, I just need to take my blood sugar first. He has type 2 diabetes, which is so sad, but it's okay. He takes his blood sugar, then he comes in, and he's reading him a bedtime story, and just as Joey's eyes are starting to close, they're dimming, and he's almost ready to fall asleep, his dad feels this pain in his left arm, and it's intense, but he's like, no, I'll just finish the story. Joey's almost asleep, then then I'll go deal with it, see what's happening. But then he can't take it anymore. All of a sudden, he falls over onto Joey. He's startled awake, right? And he's in pain. He's calling to his wife, right? Like, come get help, come get help. Something's happening, right? Joey's freaking out. Before the paramedics can arrive, his dad has died of a heart attack. So America has a problem. We are in the OECD, the highest rate of obesity country in the world, with a 37% obesity rate. By the BMI scale, to be obese, you have to be, if you're 5'9" in a male, you have to be 203 pounds. The average American male, according to a government website, actually is at 5'9", 195.7 pounds. That's just under 6 pounds under obese for our average weight. This is a problem. So it's a multifaceted problem. And I can't say there's just one thing causing it. There are many, many things causing it. But one easy thing we could get rid of right now is high fructose corn syrup. So first we got to understand what high fructose corn syrup is. Basically what happens is corn is refined, it's taken in, and then there's a very complicated process that, don't even try to understand it. It's very long. You have to boil, you have to separate cornstarch, apparently, then you make glucose, and then you add enzymes in, and you end up with this concoction that's either 55% fructose and 45% glucose, or don't need to bother these percentages. It's roughly around there, right? Half fructose, half glucose. There's a few different percentages. So, what happens though is this is digested a very interesting way. See, it comes into the body, and usually when we digest glucose, what happens is it comes in, we make insulin. We've all heard of insulin, right? Diabetes. So it comes in, makes insulin, then it travels off to the brain and tells the brain, like, hey, you're full now, you've eaten. The brain goes, oh, thank you very much. And it stops eating. And then it creates fat, but it also uses energy. But the problem is when we take in large amounts of fructose in high fructose corn syrup, up to 55%, that's the most common percentage, what happens is that doesn't actually trigger the creation of insulin and leptin. And what happens is the brain just keeps eating, and it's like, wow, this is great. I'm loving it. And it doesn't feel full, and it gets this sensation. It still has the sugar rush, so it enjoys it. And actually, according to a man named Dr. Leptin, I think he published a study where he said that high fructose corn syrup can be almost as addictive as cocaine when in large amounts. It has the same effects on the body. And this is because it gives this sense of you're not satisfied, you don't get full, but you enjoy it. It's very interesting. So then there's another problem. When it's digested, it favors something called de novo lipogenesis. This was proved by a team of researchers at Pennington Biomedical University. And what this means is it makes triglycerides. Triglycerides are what we see up here, those yummy yellow fats that line the inside of arteries. The US every year has about 610,000 people die of heart disease or heart attack, which is this process right here. It's this fat building up in the arteries and clogging the passageway, and then people dying. And when high fructose corn syrup is digested, it creates the triglycerides, the fats that do this, right? That's a no-no. We don't want that. Here's some other fun things about it. There's a misconception that just all sugar is bad. Sugar, I'm not going to say it's good for you. We definitely consume it in higher levels than is necessary, but regular sugar, such as sucrose, when it's digested, we know how to manage it in our bodies. This, on the other hand, is extremely overprocessed. It's not natural. It comes in syrup, not in a grain, and we can't process it the same way. Additionally, it was found by Nutrition Weekly or something. There was a magazine that found that there were actually mercury samples. There was mercury found in 9 out of 20 samples of professional high fructose corn syrup that was tested after it was brought into factories like Coca-Cola to use. This is not something we want in your food if you're aware of what mercury does to the body. So there's the problems of what it does to your health, and then there's also the problem that corn as a crop is an extremely large monolithic crop. See all that area? That's where crop is the major, where corn is the major crop being grown. And it's actually the most resource-consuming crop we have. So that's not all bad. It's good to have a big crop. The problem is when you have so much of one thing. We all remember the Irish potato famine, right? In Ireland, they relied on potatoes very, very heavily, right? And they all ate them, right? But does anyone know what happened in about the 1800s? Oh, well, thank you, June. Anyone have? No? Anyone? Okay, yes, Julia. Yeah, what happened?
The plague ran through the potatoes. Large quantities of them began rotting, so the Irish began to immigrate over to America to see a better future.
There we go. That was beautiful. Thank you, Julia. So, exactly, when one crop is attacked by something that can attack that specific crop, then it's easily spread. When you don't have diversity, you don't have barriers of different crops setting things up, then one disease can sweep through and can destroy so many. Feel free to take soda, by the way. It's not against the rules. And it can spread through huge areas, right? And take down crops. So what we need is diversity. What I say we need to do, we first need to ban high fructose corn syrup. All right, the FDA should ban it. It's dangerous. It's proven. This is the picture from the Irish potato famine. So we need to ban high fructose corn syrup because, it's dangerous to the body and also is a large monolithic crop. And we need to, instead, we don't need to destroy the entire industry. Of course, destroying an industry is dangerous. There are about 2,600 people employed in the high fructose corn syrup industry, according to IBIS World. But there's 120 million Americans affected by obesity. And I think the trade-off there is pretty large. It's worth it for there to be some hardship destroying this one industry if we can improve the lives of hopefully a large number of those people. But we don't need to destroy it completely. We actually can take these people and you still can refine the corn, but then also we're going to try and add in more sugar beets, which are these beautiful things. Sugar beets are very highly productive and make sugar. And then, like I said earlier in the process, we make glucose and then they add enzymes to turn it into fructose. We like to just keep it at glucose, which is much healthier for the body to digest, and encourage the use of this in products. It also won't be as sweet, so people won't be, it won't taste as sweet and hopefully won't bring people in as much. And it will also provide a sense of satiety, which is like satisfaction. Because glucose is our friend. Glucose is a happy man. And hopefully through these processes, we can lower this factor of obesity in our country. Thank you.